in spirit in the Blackburn area. It's a grand day out for them, and they've come down the motorway in their thousands. Estimated 20,000 supporters here for Blackburn. They'd be pleased to get that for a second division game at Ewood Park. Alongside me, I'm delighted to welcome the Tottenham manager, David Pleat, who of course is hoping to be here at Wembley for the FA Cup final. There's still a semi-final to negotiate, of course. David, it does promise to be a fascinating occasion.
Yes, I'm sure we can look forward to a very bright and breezy game. Literally, there's quite a wind swirling around at Wembley today, but I'm sure Don Mackay and Charlton Athletic as well will be pleased to get away from the rigours and tension of league football and come to Wembley today to put on a show for their supporters and for indeed the people watching at home. It looks like a very competitive, but looks like a very good and entertaining confrontation.
Well, we can show you how the teams arrived at this final. Blackburn Rovers, who were in the first round with all the other second division clubs. They put out two first division teams along the way. Oxford United in a real thriller, 4-3 of the full match. And here come the two teams. Don Mackay on the right, the manager of Blackburn Rovers, just a few weeks in charge, succeeding Bobby Saxton, who did such a remarkable job at Ewood Park. Great moments these for professional footballers all around the country. Fellow players will be looking and wishing and hoping that one day they might experience the feeling of walking out at arguably the most famous football stadium in the world. Blackburn came here yesterday for just a little bit of feel of the ground, and they said it took their breath away then. So you can imagine the feelings going through the players now. Looking around and hoping to remember and savour these moments. It passes so quickly on finals day. And they line up for the presentation to the guest of honour, Billy Wright, one of the all-time greats of the game. The impression again here, David Pleat, is of the vastness of the Blackburn support.
Yes, it really is magnificent. They've got behind the club, and I'm sure the spirit that has carried them down the motorway here to Wembley today will be shown by the players on the field, and I think it'll be a wonderful uplift for the club at this moment.
Blackburn fighting to get away from the bottom areas of the second division. Charlton Athletic very much in the toils in the first division. And Charlton, whose recent history has really been like a chapter from a soap opera. They nearly went out of business as Billy Wright is introduced by the Charlton captain Steve Thompson to his players. Graham Kelly, the secretary of the Football Association, also making up the official party there. But Charlton nearly out of business, and then the controversial ground sharing scheme which upset a lot of their loyal fans when they moved from the Valley, from south-east London to South London to Selhurst Park, where they share with Crystal Palace. And that very season, Lenny Lawrence in the light suit there managed to lift Charlton from all their problems into the first division for the first time for 30 years. Glenn Keeley captains Blackburn Rovers today. He's played here before for Newcastle United in a League Cup back in 1976. Billy Wright, 105 England caps, many of them here in those post-war years. Billy retired as a player in 1959 and just missed Wolves beating Blackburn the following year. But he did win an FA Cup medal in 1949. then went on to manage Arsenal for a spell, and for the past 20 years he's been a senior sports executive in independent television. After the presentations, it will be the national anthem. Formalities are over. The nerves will still be jangling, certainly until the game is underway. So let's introduce you to the two teams. Blackburn Rovers have Vince O'Keefe in goal, Chris Price the right back, Chris Sully on loan from Dundee United at left back, Simon Barker, an England under-21 international in midfield, Glenn Keeley, the centre-back and captain, David Mayle, his partner, in the centre of the defence. Ian Miller is a flying winger, Alan Ainscough very experienced in midfield, Colin Hendry and Simon Garner the two strikers, and Scott Sellers from Leeds United on the left of midfield. The two substitutes, Mark Patterson and Jim Brannigan. Charlton Athletic have Bob Boulder in goal, John Humphrey and Mark Reed are the two fullbacks, Andy Peake, the former Leicester City midfield player, Steve Thompson, their captain, in the centre of defence, with Paul Miller, who's played 7 times here for Spurs. Ralph Milne from Dundee United, another recent signing, Robert Lee, a sharp young striker, Jim Melrose, the top scorer, Colin Walsh, once of Nottingham Forest, George Shipley, another hard-working midfield player, Steve Britt and Peter Shirtliff on the bench for Charlton. No Garth Crooks, who was signed on Thursday from West Bromwich Albion, he's cup-tied, and no place either for Alan Kirbishley or for the young forward Mark Stewart, who's just recovered from chicken pox, but not quite in time to reclaim his place in the 13. Brian Stevens from Gloucestershire is the referee. Many of you will remember his last taste of cup-tie action, Arsenal against Watford in the FA Cup quarter-final, where he was embroiled in a controversial episode towards the end of the game, and television replays, as they so often do, proved the referee to be absolutely right in disallowing Arsenal's claims for a penalty and allowing a Watford goal, a crucial one for Luther Blissett. Steve Thompson, a late entrant into the ranks of the full-time players. I think he was 25 before he made his league debut with Lincoln. Lenny Lawrence was a coach then at Lincoln and realised the value of Steve Thompson and brought him to London. But you can see the parlous position of Charlton Athletic in the First Division with 9 games remaining, and the playoff procedure involved this time for the first time. But it's been rather better for Blackburn in recent weeks. They've had 2 good wins in their last 2 league games, away to West Bromwich Albion a week ago, and a midweek win at home to Bradford, fellow strugglers. after the Second World War. Both, incidentally, went to extra time, and we would have extra time today if it's level after 90 minutes, and if it was level after extra time, then the penalty shootout would be brought into operation, and we'll be bringing you the entire event here live, however long it lasts. The only change in colours for this final, Charlton wearing black shorts because of a clash with Blackburn Rovers in those very easy to remember blue and white halves of a club that was a founder member of the Football League. So the pitch is wet but very flat, and the full members Cup final of 1987 is underway. Chris Sully with the throw, and here's Glenn Keeley. Vince O'Keefe has won his place back in the Blackburn goal from Terry Geno, who's had a season blighted by illness. Simon Garner, the fair hair of Colin Hendry, only his 6th game for Blackburn. The linesman is flagging and the referee a little slow to spot it for offside way on the far side. David Pleat, what sort of match do you expect us to see here?
I think both sides are going to play. I don't think they're going to push out too much in condensed space. I think there'll be an interesting confrontation in midfield between Peake and Walsh, who are both talented with the ball, and Ainscough and the young boy Barker, who's attracted a lot of attention from clubs in higher division.
This is Ralph Milne, stopped by Scott Sellers, taken up by Sully, who was a winger in his early days with Chelsea, and moved on to Bournemouth. Paul Miller is a strong-minded character and has been a marvellous influence already on Charlton in their dressing room. I'm sure he'll be cajoling and urging his players to not just come here for the day, but to come here and win. David Mayle. Blackburn Rovers have won 4 of their last 5 games. Charlton with only 1 league win this year in a run of 11 matches. O'Keefe had to come outside his area. And he found Robert Lee arriving quickly on the scene. Mark Reed, one of Charlton's Scotsmen. Lee, that's a lovely turn. Melrose in the middle. Lee only passed the fitness test yesterday. Ralph Milne there was waiting in the middle too, but it was Robert Lee who turned sharply. Encouraging moment though for Charlton. Sully. It's a Blackburn throw. Hendrick got away well. And Garner took his eye off the ball, was looking back to see whether Ainscough had got up in support, but Simon Garner has been a great servant for Blackburn Rovers, and he's a proven goal scorer. Has done particularly well in the early rounds of the Full Members' Cup. Scored in 4 of Blackburn's 5 games to get here. Melrose let it run, thinking that Peake might be able to break in behind him. This is Garner. Sellers. Hendry is there. Good sensible header down for Sully. It's Garner at the back post. And the game's first corner goes to Blackburn Rovers.
was a splendid flowing move by Blackburn. They've quickly got the cobwebs out of their system. I'm sure they're going to settle down very quickly, spurred on by such a large contingent of supporters.
They're attacking the goal behind which so many of their supporters are massed. Keeley and Mail, the two central defenders, are up at the near post, and David Mail doing enough to make Boulder and Steve Thompson have some anxiety. Hendry waiting in a deeper position with Barker, but it's that congestion around the near post that might cause the problem.
It's a nightmare for Boulder covering those balls. There's 5 6-foot players in front of him.
And Scott Sellers is delivering it accurately where Blackburn want the ball to drop, where Keeley and Mail are busy again, but it's overhit this time. Boulder has been here before as a Liverpool substitute in 2 Charity Shields. He's not a Wembley novice, but Hendry bearing down on his goal. Milne. Melrose chasing, and Mail was there first. Started his league career with Aston Villa, did David Mail. By Sellers, and at the moment Charlton having to defend with discipline. Blackburn not looking at all uninhibited, the second division side. Barker, Garner, and that was a real chance. Charlton unable to deal with the cross.
It was one of those he didn't expect, Martin, coming off the Charlton defender so quickly. He'll regret it because it was a start that Blackburn could have done with there.
And it would have been in keeping with the balance of play in the opening 7 minutes after that bright Charlton beginning with Robert Lee's turn and cross shot that wasn't too far away. It's been all Blackburn since then. And Garner very much to the fore. Here's Lee, stretching Mail. Melrose going to the near post, and Robert Lee couldn't supply the cross.
Robert Lee has quickly established supremacy on that left-hand side of the field. He's quite sharp at turning people, and he looks as though he's got the pace to get away from the central defenders. So Charlton will be looking to push the balls into the holes behind the Blackburn right-back Chris Price as quickly as possible.
There's a similarity really between the two sides, David. Basically 4 in midfield.
That's right, Martin. Yeah, 4 in midfield, both got orthodox outside rights, tucking back, and that's Ralph Milne and Ian Miller on the other side.
Both Scotsmen. Maybe that's where you have to go to look for your wingers these days. Keeley didn't quite time the jump, and Melrose, another Scot. Jim Melrose is quite an interesting character. He's allergic to grass, and he was telling me before the game that it's rather like getting a heavy cold. It affects his breathing. And it's not the best thing to be allergic to if you're a professional footballer.
Only if you play on synthetic pitches, Martin.
He did say that maybe his best games have been at Queen's Park Rangers and at Luton this season. So it's Chris Sully with a throw to Colin Hendry, who came down from Scotland with him just a few weeks ago, and they both find themselves here, both playing their 6th game for Blackburn, and it's at Wembley. From Chris Price. He's certainly an adventurous right back, is Price. Over Hendry, met by Thompson. Up goes Chris Price. Hendry, Barker, and Price on one of those overlaps now. And it tests John Humphrey, who has to concede a corner, knowing that Sellers was close at hand. And behind that goal, the Blackburn flags wave. Boulder takes it well. Sully. It was a miscue by Ainscough, but it reached Hendry. And there is a real attacking feel about this final. Both sides looking good when they sweep forward. Lee, Milne, and that's a corner. And the problem, although not a serious one for O'Keefe, who was just caught by Melrose. And before Colin Walsh can take the corner for Charlton, Colin Hendry needing some treatment way back up on the halfway line. Jim Walker is the Blackburn physiotherapist. David, they say never make a substitution when your team's defending at a corner. I just wonder whether, as a manager, you might be worried about Blackburn's concentration here at the delay.
No, that would be right. I think it's a good adage, but the boy Henry obviously wasn't involved. He's not involved in marking situations, so there wouldn't be a problem if they wish to make a change, but he seems okay.
Well, Wood, lucky to get a second go at it, and now takes on Miller and gets past him. And here is Ian Miller, who's quick when he gets into his stride. Ainscough has given it away. And so too for Charlton as Humphrey. Gone if you've just joined us live here at Wembley. The full Members' Cup final. Blackburn Rovers 0, Charlton Athletic 0. But goal mouth incidents already at both ends. Thompson losing out to Ainscough. Humphrey retrieved the situation at the cost of a throw. Onside, and it needed a stretch from Mail. And that was an important interception for Blackburn. But Milne had started it all off with an audacious back heel. Well, the linesman on the far side had spotted an infringement, but it didn't look to me as though it was offside against Milne, who was making up ground. Colin Walsh, and that came off the referee. At times they can get too close to proceedings, but no damage done.
The wind is quite strong down there, and it's noticeable that certainly from goalkeepers' kicks, the defenders are having a job to judge the ball accurately.
It's a breeze that happily has dropped from the gale force winds in the London area over the last couple of days. And there is a genuine sense of spring in the air.
It's nice to see the boy Price, the right back for Blackburn. He's got a lovely feeling for going forward. He's got pace and he wants to join in. and his ball forward, that where they conceded a corner a few minutes ago, Charlton, was a superb ball.
Sully. And the flag has stayed down, but Miller couldn't quite control. George Shipley taking no chances. George Shipley, who served his apprenticeship at Southampton, and then was another of the Charlton players involved in the Lincoln City connection. Garner. Peak. There was no way back to the goalkeeper. Price for the throw. Swept on by Ainscough. Hendry looking to try and get in at the back behind Paul Miller. Seven appearances at Wembley for Paul Miller in the space of some 15 months in 1981 and 1982 in FA Cups, League Cups and Charity Shields. Here's Garner, and that's a free kick on the edge of the area. A combination of Humphrey and Thompson doing the damage.
At the moment, Charlton just look a little bit vulnerable to this ball over the top. There's certainly foul, no question about it, and a very dangerous position.
Over the years, Simon Garner has really responded to the big occasions for Blackburn. And he's looking very lively indeed here. And here's Scott Sellers clipping it. Close enough to have the crowd roaring. And he put his hands to his head. One of a crop of promising youngsters at Leeds United under Eddie Gray, but he decided in the summer that his future would be elsewhere. Blackburn picked him up. Sully having to cover infield, a rather weak header by Price. And it's watching from the sunshine when you're on the bench today. The grey-haired gentleman on the right of the picture there, Jim Fennell, kept goal here for Arsenal in a League Cup final 19 years ago. It was a controversial goal that Arsenal lost to that day to Leeds, and Jim Fennell still remembers what he believes a foul by Jack Charlton that impeded his efforts to deal with the corner. And I think it was Terry Cooper who struck the winning goal. Hendry, free kick given against him, and then he was caught after the ball had gone. Paul Miller, who was sold to Charlton by David Pleat. Sully aware that it would have been a corner.
The ball that Paul Miller's just played is typical of Paul. He's a very good long ball striker of the ball. Apart from his terrific effect on dressing room morale, he's a very good professional.
Peak. And Lee diving in bravely. It's won a corner. There's a lovely thing about this match that so far the attackers are doing rather better than the defenders. Thompson beaten, collected by Shipley, back in from Melrose. Walsh is there, and so too for Blackburn is O'Keefe. had a walk close to their hotel in the West End of London in Hyde Park this morning. Barker, who's been amongst the goals. 14 from midfield from Simon Barker. Is he a player you've had a look at, David?
Yes, we've had a look at, and I'm sure all other First Division clubs have. He's still a young player. He suffered with the disappointments that Blackburn have suffered as the team broke up during the last couple of seasons. They had a very strong side, which Bob Saxon did marvellously well with, because then it was an ageing side, and as that side dispersed, then Simon Barker's had more responsibility for a young man on his own shoulders. But I'm sure he's got a big future ahead of him.
Indeed, as David was saying, in recent seasons, Blackburn have looked a good bet to get out of the second division into the first. And it's an awkward ball in the conditions, but Boulder watched right to the last till it dropped safely from his viewpoint onto the top of the net. He's a very calm character, is Bob Boulder, but that would have just tested the nerves a little. Just had some stitches taken out from a wound at the back of his head. Been playing with in the last couple of games. Melrose. To Walsh's left is Shipley and Mark Reed. Shipley. Three in the middle for Charlton. Reed supplies the cross and the linesman flags for offside. In fact, the delay on the ball coming in didn't suit those waiting in the middle. Sellers trying to get it over the back again, where Garner has looked most alert. Humphrey. We talked about Chris Price as an attacking right back, David, but John Humphrey has that reputation as well.
Yes, he's a local lad. He started his football at local a team called Bourne Hall, and then he went to Wolverhampton. And I know Lenny Lawrence is very pleased with him this year. He's played a forceful game for them from that full-back position.
This is Milne finding himself infield with a trick or two, and it's a free kick won by the trickery of Ralph Milne. A lot of European experience with Dundee United. He scored a lot of goals for Dundee United in European matches. And he's played in 4 finals for his former club and never been on the winning side. But he's earned Charlton a free kick here, from which they've got a chance of taking the lead. Walsh. Blackburn standing firm. Now they push out. Played back by Thompson. Peaks made the run from midfield. Keely's header. And in Barker. Here's Lee. Now Shipley. And Reed. Melrose didn't really want it. Another good layoff from Hendry, although Ainscough didn't make much of it. And Melrose was more alert this time. It's Sonny who stabbed it out. And it's the Charlton supporters now are finding their voices. Walsh looking for Lee. Keely, the master in the air. And certainly Charlton don't have a great deal of height in their attacking players, having sold their tallest forward, John Pearson, to Leeds United.
That's quite right, Martin. They're getting him to wide positions, but then they're throwing the ball into the box, and they haven't got the height to capitalise on those crosses. Maybe on the set pieces, if they can get Paul Miller and Thompson up, they'd probably benefit. Whether a number of these Charlton fans have come to Wembley
but won't go to Selhurst Park. That's still a problem that the club have to solve. But here's Price. And the problem that Charlton have to solve on the pitch at the moment is how to cope with some lively Blackburn build-up. Shipley, found by Walsh's header. Lee, turning this time but running out of room. When he was a lad, Robert Lee used to operate a turnstile at the Valley, so he's Charlton Athletic through and through.
I wonder if he got paid for that, Martin.
Sully. Here's Sellers. Blackburn do have a left-footed left-back and a very left-sided midfield player in Sellers, so there's a nice balance to the shape of their team. But Sully may be more vulnerable in the air, although he won that header well. Barker had gone just too soon.
Charlton are quite quick to step up when the players, particularly Ainscough or Barker, make a break from midfield. I think Paul Miller and Thompson have slowly taken the early minutes to sort the game out, and they now look far more composed and have lost their jitters.
Mill. Ainscough getting it forward, Garner having to deal with an awkward bounce, and having lost it, one number 10 brought down the other. And how nice it is to see that the foul only produces smiles from both parties. Reed, and the goalkeeper just distracted momentarily before he concentrated on the ball, and in fact it's an awkward fall for both players. O'Keefe was aware that Steve Thompson was coming in, who's perhaps the most forceful Charlton player in a physical sense.
But it's nice to see the goalkeepers recover. Thompson actually turned his back away from the goalkeeper and was accidentally caught. But I don't think there was any malice in that challenge whatsoever.
Jim Walker reassuring Vince O'Keefe.
I wouldn't be surprised if Thompson was cut there, Martin.
Well, O'Keefe is up, and Bill Gallagher inspecting the damage around the right ear to Steve Thompson.
It seemed to me as though his face caught Thompson as Thompson turned his head away, so it's probably even he might have caught a tool or something. I would imagine that looks as though he's been cut.
Well, he's a very tough man, Steve Thompson. He's waited a long time, 31 years old now, for his Wembley day. I believe he did play in a semi-final in the FA Trophy in his non-league days, so Wembley was beckoning for him then and he didn't make it.
He was an absolute rock also at Lincoln City, Martin, with the boy Peake, who's done so well at Coventry, Nuneaton and then Coventry. They form the basis of a very powerful Lincoln side managed by Colin Murphy.
And coached for a while by Lenny Lawrence.
That is quite right, of course. Lenny served his apprenticeship at Sincil Bank.
And Thompson typically winning the first header required of him after responding to the attentions of Bill Gallagher. approaching the half-hour mark. And it's still Blackburn Rovers 0, Charlton Athletic 0. Lee. Price this time stopped from going forward. That was good play by Melrose. Just made tracks across to bar the way. And Price will go if he can, and Charlton, you can be sure, are aware of that. Miller. And Keeley and Mail able to take the sting out of the long ball forward. Milne was trying to turn too quickly. It's an interesting duel between Ralph Milne and Chris Sully, teammates at Dundee United at the start of the season.
I get the feeling that Charlton should try and work the ball more in midfield. Peake, Shipley and certainly Walsh can all work a ball, but at the moment they're trying to hit the spaces and hit the longer ball for Melrose and Lee, who haven't got that much power, although they've got a little bit of pace. Particularly as it's windy as well.
Very much a family day out, this particular final. Both clubs enjoying being here so much and providing us with plenty of entertainment, and Melrose was lurking. Here's Milne. Now Reid. Too much of a hurry to look for Shipley, but now finds Lee, and the linesman flags for a push in the back on Lee, who's got his free kick the second time anyway, and would have appreciated the advantage initially because he was heading for the penalty area. So what can Charlton Athletic come up with here? Miller and Thompson poised on this near side. In from Walsh. Out from Hendry. Everything ahead of John Humphrey. And furthest forward is Steve Thompson. David Mail has done all that's been asked of him so far. A successor to a great Blackburn Rovers servant, Derek Fazakerley. Humphrey. But that was handball by Mail. But again, it was right on the edge. O'Keefe is covering the far post. Blackburn have 4 in the wall. And Walsh can't bypass the wall again. Ian Miller got it clear. Reid covering. Lee's speed a factor again. Help from Walsh. Here's Milne. Right across the face of the goal. Retrieved by Shipley. The flag is up. And it might have been Ralph Milne in the middle who was offside. But when Robert Lee gets the ball, David, Blackburn seem to have more difficulties.
Yes, he's got the ability to twist and turn defenders, and they're very wary now of getting too tight with him because he established some supremacy in the first few minutes, and so therefore he's got the time now, that extra yard with which to either decide to knock the ball off or to turn and face the defender. But he so far is the forward most likely to unlock the door.
Reid. Brought down to Charlton from Celtic. He played in a lot of big games north of the border. Well, the linesman indicated for a free kick to Charlton, and the referee thought otherwise.
It's not the first time the linesman's made a couple of decisions in the game and the referee has decided to ignore him. I sometimes think the referee's better positioned.
Melrose. And no one on the far side from Peake's position as he played in the cross. Far side actually refereed part of a Charlton First Division game this season at Norwich City. He replaced David Axel, who was injured and had to leave the field in an episode when Mark Reed was adjudged to have played a part in bundling him to the ground. It was never really sorted out as Sellers lets fly, and the referee was quick to exonerate Charlton from blame, but in fact on that day the FA did decide to take some action. But the action here is with Scott Sellers, and it didn't quite dip enough for him.
Saw Bob Boulder scratching his head then after that kick. I think the wind's playing a few tricks out there.
Sully. Barker, that was cheekily done against Lee, but Peake won it back and Lee is onside. Melrose sensing possibilities in the middle, joined by Walsh. Milne was rather sold short by Lee. Steve Thompson. Peake is there, and Walsh. But Ian Miller can gallop. And Shipley, although he gave away a free kick, maybe served his side well.
I would like to see Blackburn get the ball out more to Miller. Miller and Price seem to have the possibilities of pace down that side, but so far they haven't received enough supply.
To take the free kick. Hendry jumped well, out by Reid.
I must say, Martin, the pitch is playing particularly well after all the heavy rain we've had in the last few days.
Don Mackay, the Blackburn manager, was telling me last night, David, that he was planning to take his players out for a little kick around this morning on the roughest park pitch he could find, so that they would really appreciate the feel for the ball here. And both sides so far acquitting themselves well. In fact, left it to Hendry to make the header, then Ian Miller for Blackburn. Price nipping in. His speed does catch people out. Price to take the free kick himself, but not very well. Ian Walsh, who has been in the full Scotland squad when he was at Forest. Rather like Steve Hodge, he didn't want to play wide on the left of 4 for Brian Clough. Although Hodge will be playing in that very position for England, it seems, in Belfast on Wednesday. Here's Walsh in the infield role he prefers, and it does give him more opportunity to shoot for goal. He's got a useful scoring record. Although he does favour the left foot, he will shoot, as you saw, with the right. And he's got a younger brother who's just been taken on loan by Charlton from Everton. Very much peas from the same pod. And Price in trouble. I hope that's not a muscle tear.
I think Lee caught his ankle. Lee caught his ankle. He continued to run, but he knew that he was in pain and he had to go down.
Both sides allowed to name 2 substitutes, and Price back on his feet and waiting for the pain to evaporate. Jim Brannigan having a look to see whether he's required.
I would hate to think that Lee had got instructions from the box to slow Price down.
Well, someone from the Blackburn side might be giving their defenders instructions to slow Lee down, David. 2 quick players involved in that little episode on the far side. Melrose had time to look and was over-ambitious, really, in the range of his passing. Played forward by Paul Miller to Walsh. Foul by Keeley. Glenn Keely's had a long career. I often feel he's been a little bit unlucky. More on that in a moment. It's a corner for Charlton. Glenn Keely went to Everton a few years ago on loan and was sent off playing for Everton against Liverpool. That was his only game for Everton. You can't get more unlucky than that. Thompson plays it back, and Keely doing what he's done well for years, heading it away to safety. Garner gets the run of the ball against Humphrey, but only after fouling him. Simon Garner was a Jim Smith signing for Blackburn. Jim Smith now the manager at Queen's Park Rangers. Really first came to the fore at Blackburn. He picked a very attack-minding side in his days there. Melrose doing well. And O'Keefe saved it. Melrose was going for goal, and it rolled on invitingly for Ralph Milne, but O'Keefe made an important save. Thompson, out by Price. Thompson again. Vince O'Keefe might have been committed one way for the original shot then, David, and had to react again.
He did well to get the block.
Missed it. Garner took it up. Hendry's onside, and then Garner got a little close to him, but Hendry, who is a defender really, showing his tackling qualities, and it was Ian Miller finding Boulder's hands beating him. But Garner, who crossed then, is in some distress. Would be a worry for Blackburn. I don't think even his teammates realise at the moment that Garner is stretching and flexing a thigh muscle. Half-time soon to be upon us, which will give Blackburn a chance to have a look at Simon Garner. We're into the last minute of the first 45. Humphrey. Garner is seriously hurt. There is a striker on the Blackburn bench, 21-year-old Mark Patterson. At the moment, Simon Garner just trying to run the injury off. Charlton looking to break through before the referee does blow for half-time. Stoppage time he's playing now. Walsh. Shipley. Again, the problem of being precise with the cross without any genuine physical power in the Blackburn penalty area from the Charlton front line. They've got to be more deliberate. Lee trying to work for a position. Help from Walsh. And Melrose going in, but Milne and I think Paul Miller, who was up there trying to provide that thrust, have gone offside.
One of the problems that Charlton appear to have, whenever the ball is ferried out to Shipley in the widest of the left-hand side position, he has to come back on his right foot to play a precise ball in field again, and they lose the momentum of the attack. Whereas I'm quite sure if Walsh was in the wider position, he could curl the ball with his left foot around the back of the defence, which would give the forwards a greater chance of getting a strike at goal.
Paul Miller. Your thoughts on what I found a very interesting first half?
Yes, there's a few jitters, particularly from the Charlton players at the start of the game. Blackburn settled very well, forced one or two corners, had a wonderful chance, struck over the bar, may have come in a hurry. And as the game's gone on, Charlton have got more possession of the game, more controlled build-up, but they're still knocking balls high into the box, which is meat and drink to the big Blackburn defenders, Keeley and Mayle. But at the moment, it's nicely balanced, and I'm sure we're in for a good second half.
So, no goals in the first 45 minutes. Remember, if there are no goals in the second half, we go to extras. Blackburn Rovers players have fought their way to Wembley. Simon Barker very purposefully coming through the group there to get out and get on with business in the second half. David, if you were Lenny Lawrence, what would you have been saying to the Charlton team, do you think?
Well, just to keep calm, keep playing. They should be superior. The league records suggest this season that Charlton, have had a hard fight, but they are in the first division, whereas Blackburn also have had a hard fight, but they are a league below them. And they've got to make their difference in class tell. And one assumes at this moment in time, Charlton do have slightly more talented players overall through the field. If anything, Blackburn have slightly the older side, and I think that Charlton's younger legs should pay off in this half.
The last time the two clubs met was in the second division last April. It was an important match for Charlton in their promotion campaign. They beat Blackburn 3-0. So that's the nearest we can give you to current form. But here after 45 minutes, Blackburn Rovers have given a good account of themselves, and they of the second division are holding Charlton Athletic of the first. Simon Garner, a worry about him just before half-time. He is out for the second half, and here he is on the ball. Ian Miller. Colin Hendry coming in at the far post, and it came off Boulder.
It was a lovely angled cross. Boulder did well to keep going. He didn't hesitate. He knew that it was going beyond him, but he went all the way to force the corner.
And Miller, who played in that cross, has gone away onto the far side to take the corner now. back defending, but he plants it straight back where it came from. Barker. And Boulder brave again at the feet of Hendry.
Bob Boulder did well there to smother that. He's a real gentle giant, is Bob. I had him at Luton for a while on loan from Sunderland, and he was going through a bad time. He'd been at Liverpool, not established himself, which is difficult to do there. And now I'm pleased to say that he's doing well for himself and his career at Charlton.
Ralph Milne is the injured player. He's another of the new acquisitions. Charlton have certainly had a crack at bolstering their playing staff to stay in the First Division. Ralph Milne from Dundee United, Bob Boulder we've mentioned, brought down from Sunderland, Paul Miller from Tottenham, and his former Tottenham teammate Garth Crooks, signed on deadline day, but not eligible for this match. His feet. But Wembley is always the perfect occasion for a final of any competition, and how good it is as we really enter the final season here to have a bright day, a good crowd and a highly competitive match to bring to you. And O'Keefe in trouble with his own defender, and it was Peake who shot wide. David Mayle was the player who didn't respond to his goalkeeper's call, or didn't hear the call. I'm sure you get two different versions of that episode, David, from the two players.
Or even responded late if he gave a late call, and that's possibly what's happened on that occasion. He was preparing to get the ball away, and at the last minute Boulder called. And of course, by that time he couldn't get himself out of the situation.
Part of the fun of the day here at Wembley was an earlier match between the apprentices at each club, which Blackburn won narrowly, a match monitored closely by David Pleat, in case there was a good young player there.
There were certainly some big boys there, I know that, for apprentices.
Walsh. Here's Shipley, favouring the right foot again. Lee. Walsh. And now Paul Miller. David, you were making the point in the first half about George Shipley having to use his right foot, and that Colin Walsh would be perhaps better employed out there. Maybe it's a time where players have to be told what their best position is. Colin Walsh certainly, and I've talked to him about it, wants the involvement of the more central role.
I think if he was playing a more central role at Nottingham Forest, he'd be making more breaks from the midfield to support the front two, or even to run beyond the front two.
Well, the flag went up and then went down again. And Hendry thought that there was enough daylight there between the ball and Boulder for him to have a stab at it. Almost caught the goalkeeper with his stud showing. No complaints though from Bob Boulder.
You made a point, Martin, about the apprentices before the game, which I thought was a lovely touch. There's also another nice little thing about today. The ball boys are from both Blackburn and I think the South London Association Croydon schoolboys, and that's nice.
The critics of the full Members' Cup, and they've been plentiful. You might care to remember that the League Cup started in a very humble way back in the early 60s. And because of the range of clubs this incorporates in terms of bringing a Wembley occasion, who's to say that the full Members' Cup is not in its formative years now towards a regular part in the football calendar. It can be a nuisance with fixtures early in the season. There were only 821. 821 saw Charlton against Birmingham in their first match in the march to Wembley. But there are an awful lot more than that wearing red and white here today and thoroughly enjoying their day out. Simon Barker, blocked by Thompson, but by the body, not the hand. Milne turning on the edge of his own area, but got away with it. Lee was sharp to react on the halfway line. Good support here from Walsh. And then Keeley booted it to safety. Jumping against David Mayle, it drops for Shipley, and it's on his right foot. He worked hard there to make an opening. Could have let fly with the left.
Yeah, he's a good dummy kicker, is the lad Shipley. Pretends to kick and then turns back again. He maybe just got a little bit too underneath that. But a good effort.
Certainly glory was beckoning for him then. Melrose. Here's Barker for Blackburn. Ian Miller. Insko trying to make a run from midfield, but aware that he had to time it properly to avoid the offside flag.
Paul Miller is excellent at organising a back four, and he likes to hold the line. So whenever Blackburn play the ball square or backwards, they will just step up a couple of yards, and if the Blackburn man is already on his way, invariably they'll be caught offside. There was a time at Spurs when Miller and Roberts played centre-back, and possibly to disguise a shade of lack of pace, they continually kept upfield and caught players running offside.
Lee. It'll be retrieved here for Blackburn by Chris Sully. And again, Paul Miller and his back four do the job. A very resilient character. He's had his ups and downs, but has had his share of the big days, more than his share really. This is his 8th Wembley appearance. And Garner felt the force of Miller then, but Blackburn still have the ball with Chris Price. Now Miller is outside him, Hendry through the middle, and Price, when he sees the whites of the opposing goalposts, isn't frightened to accept the responsibility of going it alone. He's out of position now, and Mayle misjudged to let Lee away. Sully to the rescue. Chris Sully was in the Bournemouth team that knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup some 3 years ago.
Charlton had a wonderful possibility on that break. Robert Lee had a man over, and unfortunately they wasted it.
Humphrey. And that's Walsh, good handling, because O'Keefe might well have been distracted by Colin Walsh. Any fumble then, and Blackburn might have found themselves a goal down. Hendry. Really can't split the sides on the way this match has gone so far. Lee probing away again. Melrose repositioning in the middle. Well, the free kick is given in Charlton's favour.
There's another case of a linesman making a decision where the referee, I felt, was in a perfect situation to make the decision himself, but then he has very little option but to take the linesman's advice.
Milne was left unmarked. Maybe they were worried about Walsh's shooting power, and Milne had held his position on the edge of the area. It was a real chance, David.
Yes, he tried to place the shot rather than go for power, and O'Keefe was down very quickly. But he came onto it quickly. It was a good bit of play and good handling. O'Keefe's gained a bit of confidence there. He's handled two balls superbly well in the last couple of minutes.
We've now reached 12 minutes in the second half, and it's still 0-0. Chris Price will be 27 tomorrow. Reed waiting for the right movement for the throw. Shipley. Plenty of red shirts forward. Miller is one of them. And Thompson guarding at the back. Almost through to Melrose. It would have been interesting if that had got through. Miller. Reed retreating.
There's no better sight than a running winger. Someone attacking defenders, making the excitement happen.
And Ian Miller certainly can run. He was at the hub of that break that's brought Blackburn a corner. He used to run in the Powder Hall professional sprints north of the border, did Miller. Sellers to take the corner. And Boulder may have learnt that move from Bruce Grobler, being positive at the near post, coming and anticipating any attempt to flick it on. Melrose. Here's Milne. He's wandered away from his right-wing berth more in the second half. Reed is up with him. It wasn't a pass that seemed to be going anywhere. Hendry, collected by Barker, waited nicely for Sully. Barker again, Sully going for the return. Thompson had read it. Lee getting bumped in the back by David Mayle, but the referee saw nothing wrong. Lee, now Humphrey. Milne couldn't collect, nor could Melrose. Sure, watching and wondering the outcome of this game. Easy to pick a winner at this point. Garner. Here's Miller. And Blackburn Rovers players flooding into the middle. And Sellers, it wasn't an easy ball to take. It looks wonderful if it flies into the top corner.
It was a lovely fly to diagonal ball by Miller, once again causing Boulder a moment's hesitation and a problem with that type of ball. But it was rather a loose volley for all that, and slightly reminiscent of his opportunity in the first half.
back on the right. And bundled down. So it's the signal for Charlton to send Thompson forward again, and Paul Miller. In from Peak, and that is Paul Miller, just beaten to it. Shipley couldn't retrieve it, Ian Miller sorted that. And Blackburn are certainly having better fortune than they did when they came here in the FA Cup 27 years ago, their last visit. On that day, Derek Dugan put in a transfer request on the morning of the game, one of the Blackburn players. They lost an own goal in a 3-0 defeat, and they lost the player, Dave Whelan, with a broken leg. Paul Miller having a look towards Shipley and then deciding to try and use him. Price saw it as well. Garner. Simon Garner, more than 100 league goals for Blackburn. One from him now would mean so much to football in an area where it has a great history. And here is Garner. Shipley. Melrose. Barker busily organising Blackburn Rovers. Hendry giving chase, and Thompson shrugging him aside.
Barker's slowly becoming the most influential player on the pitch. He's beginning to win a few balls in midfield, his passing's improved, and he's the one that can set things off and make Blackburn play. It's absolutely vital that he keeps in the game.
Blackburn do, and Don Mackay's not proud of it, regard themselves as a second-half team. All their goals in recent games have come in the second half. They even kept that run going by missing a first-half penalty at West Bromwich Albion a week ago.
I hope they've saved some for today.
Paul Miller. Sully staying close to Milne. Help from Sellers. Here's Mayle. Hendry aware that he could bring it down, but couldn't match the control with the pass. Price. Sorry, David.
I'm surprised there's not any movement from the bench yet, Martin. I haven't seen the substitutes warming up at any time during the game, and I feel, particularly on a quite cold day now and blustery day, so important to keep warm and keep every few minutes getting the legs going. And now we're in the second half. I'm sure Don Mackay must be thinking along those lines anyway, of changing.
Barker. Here's Sellers. Humphrey a little slow across to close him down, but Sellers took too long. Sully. And Barker is offside. To be fair to Don Mackay, David, Brannigan and Patterson have had a little sprint along the far side. And he does have options there. Here's Milne. Keeley again, first to the ball in the air. Humphrey. Milne. Walsh. Trying to work her way through, and Ralph Milne couldn't beat a goalkeeper who is enjoying an excellent second half. And here's Garner, excitement at one end and at the other two. Garner neglecting Hendry in the middle. But it was a thrilling piece of play with a chance, first of all, David.
Yeah.
At the
Walsh forced the issue.
Blackburn end.
Walsh forced the issue by getting through there. He stumbled into several players, and when it ran to Milne, it was a half chance for sure, maybe better than a half chance, but he narrowed the angle exceptionally well, O'Keefe. He's having a good time. And then, of course, when the play was transferred to the other end, Simon Garner did brilliantly well.
So here's Peake. Good control, Jim Melrose. And Lee, did he use a hand? I think he might have done. Well, handball is not given. A corner is the decision of referee Brian Stevens. And that's why you're hearing some whistles from the Blackburn end. Walsh, blocked by Mail, certainly responded to the goalkeeper's call that time. Vince O'Keefe has travelled the highways and the byways of the Football League to earn a living as a professional goalkeeper, and really for his persistence in making a career for himself, he deserves the thrills he's getting, I'm sure, inside for his goalkeeping, particularly in the second half, which will have been admired, I'm sure, in the Goalkeepers' Union by Bob Boulder from the other end. Goalkeepers are strange animals, David. They often seem to be more friendly with the opposition goalkeeper than with their own teammates.
Yes, I think goalkeeping, it's very much a personal thing. They're all in the same union, they all have the same job to do, and they all talk amongst themselves about their own experiences. They are, if you like, although they're outfield players, they're very, very much specialist people.
It's very much like that, I can tell you, in the world of football commentators. Maybe it's a similar job. One mistake and you're sunk. Well, the linesman flanked very late. And Paul Healy had to make his decision and took his time about it, shall we say.
My considered decision halfway through the second half is that the linesman in the yellow isn't so much in harmony as he should be with the referee in the middle.
Brian Stevens, like everybody involved today, very much enjoying the occasion and making the most of it. Melrose. Sully covered some ground to make that interception. Sellers has given it away, and there were teammates committed, and Milne might punish that error. Here's Lee. Milne sent flying off the ball, but the referee allowing play to go on. In fact, it's Milne's chance, and he'd hardly recovered his balance, and he certainly hadn't recovered his composure. Miller. Here's Reed. David Mail, decisive. Taken on by Barker. Garner loitering on the left. And that was a textbook block tackle from John Humphrey. And he's turning defending into counter-attack.
The game is opening out well now. Both teams committed to attack.
Lee. Walsh. Charlton working from right to left. And Melrose at the forefront of their attacking play. But not ready to receive the ball returned to him by Shipley. But here's Paul Miller. And Lee was robbed right at the very last. Another of those electric turns that Blackburn only just dealt with. Walsh. Charlton here trying to turn the screw. Peak, who had a promising beginning in league football with Leicester, a contemporary of Gary Lineker. Moved on to Grimsby, delighted to be back in the First Division again. Humphrey. Sellers can't get it very far. Blackburn just looking a little weary at the moment. Thompson. And Miller realising that that was the safest, the most sensible thing to do.
Time for substitutions maybe, Martin. Blackburn on the rocks a little bit.
But here's Barker. Trying to lift Blackburn again. Hendry, Alan Ainscough. Sellers. And Boulder didn't make it. Hendry came in strongly and Charlton had to concede a corner. And that's the joy of cup football, when a team is just beginning to look as though it's slipping away from them. They can break back with purpose and threat then. Sellers looking to whip it in towards the near post again, I would think, where Keeley and Mayle and Miller are waiting. But he couldn't find the area. And there is going to be a substitution, David. They're going to bring on Mark Patterson for Scott Sellers. Patterson is also capable of operating down the left side. Sellers leads to a generous round of applause. Don Mackay had come down to the touchline there, just to urge his players on to maybe lift the tempo. And the substitution taking place after 28 minutes of the second half. And we're beginning now, David, to have to think about extra time.
Yes, no tea today, Martin.
Two teams who haven't found goal scoring easy in their league matches this season. Charlton 30 goals in 33 First Division games. Blackburn 32 in 33 Second Division games. So maybe that scoreline shouldn't surprise us. Sully. Garner. Garner. Corner for Blackburn. Garner making his way into the middle, having won it. Boulder with the fist. Over the shoulder from Milne. And if Blackburn can get it forward, Thompson is playing everyone onside, but he's recovered his senses now after being on the receiving end, I think, of Boulder's charge off his line. Barker. Shipley. Blackburn Rovers do have one famous supporter. They probably have several, but one in particular. The Prime Minister is a vice president of the club and has sent the chairman, William Fox, a good luck message from number 10. Can't be here today, of course, because of a pressing engagement in the Soviet Union. Blackburn's throw off Walsh. Well, Alan Ainscough, the oldest player on the pitch at 33. His experience of the game and his know-how in terms of guiding a team through the last stages might be important. Charlton have certainly had the better goal-scoring opportunities in the second half. And here's Peake. Humphrey. Again, we have the linesman making the mind up for the referee. But I don't think there was any doubt that there was a spot of obstruction there as Humphrey was trying to make his progress down the touchline. Another free kick which might test out Blackburn. They played it short to Walsh. And Melrose, unattended. Jim Melrose was with Manchester City last season, but he didn't play in the full Members' Cup final. He was being sold to Charlton that particular weekend. So this is his final.
Yeah, and I thought that was a particular position to creep into that could have won them the game. I mean, he's got there all alone free. But it was a good catch by O'Keefe, but maybe anything downwards would have been better advised.
And Melrose in the wars at the moment. Peake. Suddenly Melrose springing to life, having been limping, but stopped by the offside and the pain returned. He's an unusual player, David, Jim Melrose. He seems to go and do well over short periods for a club and then move on.
I think also, if you look at his goal scoring, certainly when he first came down from Partick Thistle to Leicester City, I believe, he got the goals in patches. He was quite a hat-trick man, but not maybe a regular goal scorer. Probably if he would have been a regular goal scorer, he would have stayed at one club longer.
5 hat-tricks, in fact, in his senior career. One of them this season against Everton in the First Division.
Yeah, well, that's a great credit, a hat-trick against Everton.
But Melrose is just limping at the moment. And here he is, beaten to it by Price. Walsh. Milne trying to accelerate the play with the pass through to Lee. He's been less of an influence in the second half. 10 minutes remaining of normal time. Garner played it hoping that Miller's long stride would get him there.
That was lovely, Martin, wasn't it? That ball looked as though it was over-paced, but it hit a divot and almost stopped dead to retain the advantage to Blackburn.
Garner's been playing passes like that to Miller for some 6 years now, so he knows his capacity. Ian Miller at Doncaster Rovers when he was in an interesting attack with Peter Kitchen, who had his moments with Orient, scored a lot of goals in an FA Cup run to the semi-final, and Brendan O'Callaghan, who went on to be an international with the Republic of Ireland. Miller's the only one still going of those 3.
That was an excellent front 3, and I think what happened was Miller did so well that he attracted the attention, and they did a swap with Forrest with Curran.
Miller crossing again. Boulder's problem there was not any Blackburn player arriving, but the bulk of Thompson. Keeley has been to Blackburn what Thompson has been to Charlton. sure figure in the air at the back. Carried off by Melrose. And Lee was looking menacing, just couldn't collect it. Up above Hendry. There's some tired legs out there now, and they face the prospect of an extra 15 minutes each way, and then maybe the drama of the penalty shootout. Humphrey. There's a chance here for a moment of real glory for somebody. A late winner. Whipped away to safety by Chris Sully. Humphrey across to take the throw. Here's Peake. No one had made the run for him. Walsh, pressed by Ainscough, forcing him back. Charlton the favourites, David. We have to pay tribute to Blackburn for extending them this far, and yes, who knows what might happen now.
Yes, I think they've done well. Both teams have stuck rigidly to their patterns. Neither have done anything to change, to possibly force the issue in the last 20 minutes. Maybe the lads are putting in even greater efforts. There's been no tactical switch. There's been no one moving up the front to make a third striker or whatever. And the pattern of the game has been very, very similar throughout.
And even the substitution by Don Mackay for Blackburn has brought on like for like. Patterson fitting in on that left-hand side of midfield. Here he is. Mill. Lee caught from behind. Robert Lee with that ankle problem that made him a doubt earlier in the week. And that can't have done us any good. Humphrey. Well, Milne didn't make contact with the ball in his attempt to halt Patterson. On the Charlton bench, Steve Britt and Peter Shirtliff are the two substitutes. Neither of them are forwards, David, so Lenny Lawrence, not with perhaps the range of mobility in his team selection, with that to change things.
Yeah, that's an interesting selection, because when you have the opportunity of two substitutes, one normally feels that a goal scorer is an essential, someone who can maybe produce a goal.
Miller trying to produce a goal here for Blackburn, and he's away from a rather tired-looking Reed. Boulders committed. Hendry! What a strike!
Once again, one of those superb diagonal crosses of Ian Miller, which put them in a bit of a twist it was, and a superb strike for a centre-half converted to centre-forward. He'll be very proud of that finish.
It's his 6th game for Blackburn Rovers.
I think Boulder did get a touch on it.
And that's his third goal. Colin Hendry, £30,000 from Dundee. What an inspired signing by Don Mackay. And how the Blackburn Rovers fans have taken to him, not just today, They'll adore him after that if Blackburn can hang on now. But he was telling me last night that he got off to a good start playing centre-half in his first game for the club. He's played up front in the game since then, but he really feels he's settled in quickly. Offside. He's 21 years old, is Hendry. A mere squad player for Dundee in the Scottish Premier League this season, but he's a Wembley hero here. It was an electrifying goal, David, really worthy of any great Wembley occasion.
Yeah, once Miller had burst past Reed, I think there was some hesitation, and I felt Miller personally was going to cut in and try and confront Miller and make it more of an exact chance. But he decided to put the ball in early, which is a good grounding for a winger, and the outcome was that splendid goal.
And Blackburn now have time on their side. What a time to score with 4 minutes remaining. It's bedlam behind the goal to the left. And all they want to hear now is the final whistle. And Garner is away. There may be more delight for Blackburn yet. Hendry inside him, and Garner was, as he was entitled to do, going for goal himself. Thompson across.
There was a possible offside from the difficult position up here, but the linesman then hesitated and decided to keep his flag down, Martin.
Patterson plays it short. It's too deep for Garner. Blackburn Rovers, 14th in the second division. You have to go back to 1928 to find their last Wembley win in the FA Cup. They beat Huddersfield Town 3-1. The team which can't score a goal in the first half at the moment, but is keeping a very successful run going with goals in the second half. They've done it in the league and improved their position. And they've done it here at Wembley and are now seconds away from winning the full Members' Cup. But Charlton aren't finished yet. Garner wanting to take some time and just take it somewhere where Charlton can't get it back, and he's done that.
We felt early on that the pace of Miller might cause problems if they could exploit it down this right-hand side, and it finally gave them what looks like the victory.
It's a question now of what Brian Stevens will add on. Blackburn Rovers have won it. Colin Hendry's goal, and a tremendous shot into the roof of Bob Boulder's net it was. 4 minutes from time has taken the second division club to Wembley glory, and Charlton Athletic end in dismay and now have to turn their thoughts towards keeping alive in the first division. 20,000 supporters have come down from Blackburn for a day they'll never forget. And Don Mackay, the manager who took over only a few weeks ago, inherited a club that had been built by Bobby Saxton's diligent work over a number of years, but the team was beginning to break up. Don Mackay has inspired, as new managers often do, lifted the players. Charlton can only find desolation and wonder what went wrong.
And Don Mackay typically is walking round to the Charlton players and shaking their hands. He's just going to Bob Boulder, the goalkeeper, at this moment in time. He's an ex-goalkeeper himself. He's a terrific sportsman, Don Mackay, and he's a great enthusiast. And it's nice for him to start in this way, but I'm sure he'll be the first to remember all the work that Bob Saxton's put in.
There's Don Mackay just now turning his attentions to his own players. He insisted that they hadn't come here for the day out. They'd come to win the Full Members' Cup. And Colin Hendry, hugged and held high by his captain Glenn Keely and now his manager. And the manager who signed him, Tom Mackay, since he left Coventry City last season, has been working for Rangers, and he knew the Scottish scene well. And he'll justify the signing of Colin Hendry, David, forevermore on this moment.
Yeah, well, there's that magic moment when Miller's cross evades everyone and he hits it first time unerringly into the top of the net. A real striker's goal. I'm sure that if he takes chances with that confidence, he's got a future as a front player.
So it's the losers who go up first, applauded by the victors. Steve Thompson, who performed admirably at the back. But Charlton's lack of goal power in the end let them down here, as it has done in the First Division this season. And Billy Wright, William Ambrose Wright, one of football's all-time legends, has a word, and I'm sure the right word for the occasion. A word of sympathy for Miller collecting his memento. But it wasn't to be for Charlton Athletic, despite the trust of Milne and Lee at times. Glenn Keely would be advised now to take this very slowly and gently. Few people savour this experience, and those that have done it tell you that there's nothing like it in the world to go up the steps at Wembley as a winner. Chelsea collected it last year, but now it's Blackburn Rovers who are the toast of Wembley. A kiss, and then he shows it to those wearing the blue and white. And how often they stumble at the end too. Tired legs, but warm hearts. And they all want to feel it. The trophy being passed along with the blue and white ribbons. And I'm sure Margaret Thatcher in the Soviet Union, when she hears the result as a vice president of the club, will share in this delight. David Pleat, they were never really overawed by the occasion as the underdogs. No pressure, of course, on them.
No, I think they started the game better. Charlton showed more nerves at the beginning of the game. And in the second half, when Charlton came at them in more numbers and began to play more fluid football, I thought that they resisted very well defensively and broke out with longer balls. Well, I think Barker was very instrumental in midfield. I thought he worked very hard. He compensated for Ainsco's ageing legs. And all in all, Blackburn really are the heroes. They're from the division below Charlton Athletic, and they've come here and they've conquered it.
And Don Mackay ending the procession down the steps with a trophy in his hand. Jim Brannigan, one of the substitutes who's been at Blackburn a long time and deserves to be a part of the victory. And now they pose for photographs that I'm sure they'll have framed and keep as souvenirs for as long as they live. Blackburn Rovers, the pride of the North. And today, they perform proudly at Wembley. And goodness knows what it will do to reawaken football in the area. It's been a traumatic season for Blackburn. They won their opening 3 league games this season, then 1 win in the next 17. That cost Bobby Saxton his job. But they've turned the corner at the right time, and the Full Members' Cup has boosted their confidence for their league performances. There are players there who have worked hard throughout their career without really getting any share of the limelight. Men like Ainscoe and Keeley, Simon Garner.
I mentioned for the right back too, did very well. The right back from Hereford played all his football in the lower leagues and came on today and did splendidly.
Ian Miller, of course, as well, who imposed his particular brand of skill on the match at a crucial phase.
I think it's nice for the club, Martin. We've always been a very friendly, hospitable club. They're one of the most welcoming boardrooms in the country. I think it's the hot pies, but they really are friendly people at Blackburn. They've got great tradition. They're a fine club, and you can see by the support that they've brought today, it's an area where the interest is going to be reawakened.
Well, they won the battle early in the afternoon in terms of the supporters, in terms of the noise and the volume of support, indeed the number of people here. And then it took longer, but the team won their battle as well. And Colin Hendry can hardly believe it's happening to him. I think he's started 3 games for Dundee this season before being signed at the end of February. And I'm sure they were saying in Blackburn, David, they were saying Colin who when Don Mackay brought him down. Well, they know Colin Hendry now, and quite rightly Vince O'Keefe getting his share of the limelight. Some excellent handling when the destination of the match was really in the melting pot. And he's not going to drop the cup. As they celebrate, David, I must say to you, has it crossed your mind this afternoon, you're 1 match away from coming here and 2 matches away from the delirium that we're seeing now? Never
tempt Providence, Martin. Treat every game as it comes. I hope and pray that we're good enough and deserve to get there, and that we can have a wonderful day in May. But I've been upset before and disappointed, and you know, let's hope that we can do it this time.
Well, Colin Hendry hasn't seen it again yet, but we can show it to you once more from this splendid angle. You do get a perfect view of Boulder having to commit himself from the wicket cross from Ian Miller. And what a difficult ball to hit, David.
Yeah, it came to him. He struck it early, but he struck it beautiful and true. If it would have been in a World Cup, you know, you'd have given him great credit, and you must give him great credit today.
To come when hopefully Ian Miller may be showing more emotion than anybody, and I perhaps can sense why, because Blackburn have been a nearly team in the 2nd division and Miller's been a part of that. They've been so close to winning a place back into the 1st division, but now they have a trophy to their name. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage here from Wembley. We've brought you an excellent match and a thrilling goal from David Pleat and myself, Martin Tyler. We say goodbye.